Charisma Quotient. I'm your host, Kim Seltzer, a dating and makeover expert, where I will help you build confidence, make connections, and find love from the outside in. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dating Real Talk. I'm your host, of course, Kimmy Seltzer. I'm a confidence therapist, dating strategist, and image consultant. And I obviously have a holistic way in helping people from the outside in look and feel their best so they attract what they want. And if you're new to the show, welcome. We are here every Tuesday and Thursday. We go live at 4 p.m. Pacific time. On Tuesdays, I have something called Real Talk Tuesdays, where you ask real dating questions and I answer them in real time. And on Thursdays, we are here to talk all about reality shows, where reality TV meets real life dating advice. And I always have really cool guests. And I'm really excited about the two guests I have today. Without spilling the beans too quickly, I want to build it up a little bit because this guy knows his stuff in pop culture. First, of course, I have my good friend, Allison Melody from the Food Heals podcast. Hello.
Glad to be here. Cheers.
Cheers.
Got lots of hot takes, but I'm excited to hear our guest.
Yes.
The pop culture king.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and we always have really good, conversations, but I'm super excited about our next guest. His name is Ryan Bailey. You may know him from his own show, So Bad It's Good. And it's good, let me tell you. He is a pop culture guru, commenter, actor, and now friend. So welcome.
Wow, Dating Real Talk Nation. Hello. Wow. What an intro.
I was like,
a
Bachelorette
guru.
Nation.
I was like, that's
You are.
Wow, cult leader or something.
I will know in a positive way.
In a positive,
right?
yeah, finally, in a positive way.
But it's such a good way.
Yes.
It's so bad, it's good.
Well, you're a confidence coach, right?
I
Part
am.
of that, right?
I am.
Because I always think about this lately about the title of the show, So Bad It's Good. You're leading with the negative of the word bad in a title. Because we have a guest on that wrote the Gwyneth Paltrow biography this week. Oh. And when she created Goop, she put the two O's, G and P for Gwyneth Paltrow, but the two O's, there is something in advertising like Google, Yahoo. Those two O's are very successful. And I was like, man, if I could change, it's been 6 years, but if I could change the name to not lead with something like bad, like a negative word.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, isn't it?
See, this is why I have you on here.
No, it blew my mind. I was reading the book and I found that really fascinating because I just when I came up with that name 6 years ago, I just thought that's a really kind of funny name. It sticks in my head. But the more you go on, even when I'll have guests on or you'll pitch to PR, they'll be like, "Well, is it negative? Is it bad?"
Yeah,
and I'm like, "No, my taste is bad. The show is good. It's about what we all love."
Well, okay, so this is a good segue in what I was going to ask you because I don't know everything about you. I know you two know each other a little bit more, but I would love to hear your story. Like, how did you get into all this and when did it all start?
Well, I mean, really accidental in some ways in terms of like the podcasting and stuff, but the love of pop culture ever since I was a little kid. Like I grew up in Olathe, Kansas, which was a great place to grow up, but I wasn't into the stuff that, typical boys were into. And I grew up on a street with mainly all girls. And my dad was a traveling salesman during the week. So really with my mom and all the girls on my block, but I was always more drawn to music, TV, and this is pre-internet. So anything I could get my hands on, I was really just, I don't know, that was all magical. The fact that there was a place called Hollywood seemed like that was Narnia or something.
Oh my God, right? Because I'm from the Midwest too.
Yeah.
Like we thought it was like,
yeah,
Hollywood.
It was like what dreams were made of.
Yeah.
And so that really all shaped my taste. And then we moved to Arizona, and that was such like freshman year of high school, all of a sudden going from like a small junior high to like a 3,000 person high school blew my mind. And I was already into theater in Kansas, but got in with the bad boys and girls at the theater department. And no, but it was great. Like,
right.
And so that led me to LA eventually where I, started my acting career, and I would have small parts in good shows like The Office or How I Met Your Mother, or like bigger parts in horrible Lifetime movies. And so I was a struggling actor, for, I guess in a way I still am, for a long time. And that's just all respect to actors. People don't understand how tough it is, that journey, you know? And
Absolutely.
even I know amazing actors that just never get their shot. Around 2019, like I always loved reality TV. That was something that I was always drawn to. I remember the first season of Real Housewives of Orange County, which is now like 20 seasons in next season.
Isn't that crazy to
It's
think
insane.
that it was that old? Yeah.
But I was like a straight dude that like was drawn to these shows. Like I would talk to my buddies' girlfriends or wives about these shows, but they never watched it. They watched sports. And I loved it, but I didn't know there was like communities of people that would talk about these things. Like in terms of general pop culture, movies and TV, I'd read the Entertainment Weeklies, I'd read all of that stuff,
Right.
fascinated. But reality TV, it was that kind of secret, like, oh, do you watch that? Do you watch that?
Yeah.
And I found that there was an audience. And then podcasting, I would listen to podcasts, but it was never a pop culture or reality show. It was more news driven or like serial, true crime. And then I was like, I wonder if I could do that. Anywho, it started off right before the pandemic. And then that became, I think, like a lot of creators, you were alone in a room. And so I would just do these insanely long, I would do like 6-hour podcasts.
Get out.
Well, yeah, because I treated it like drive time radio. Well, yeah, I grew up on drive time radio or Stern or something. So I would treat it where I would do 3 interviews, not all in a row, but then I would edit them together. I would do comedy bits. I'd have my mom and dad on, and I put those on, and it just slowly built an audience, and then a division of iHeart. Like it was weird. It was, and it was the kind of traction that I never got as an actor, where you are really dependent on like, hey, this barista has 2 lines. Do you want to audition for it? But this, I could say whatever I wanted. Even if it was wrong, even if it was bad, I could put it out there and just see what happens. And that takes us kind of to today in a sense. But it's been like 6 years of, I mean, when people, like in acting class, your teachers would be like, you got to work so hard. You got to put your 10,000 hours in to be an expert. This is the one thing where I'm like, I've put my time in, and it's really exciting. My job is to basically watch television.
That's the best job I've ever heard of.
But as a kid, that was the dream.
Right,
Like, I said this, I feel guilty sometimes about the influencery kind of parts of it. Like Warner Brothers sent me some great DVD boxes. And then I was like, do I post this? I don't want to be too braggy. Like, I'm getting free DVDs, but that was the goal. Like if I could get screeners to shows before they came on the air, I was like, man, that would be amazing.
That
like
means
I never
made it in Hollywood.
Well, I never think about the money aspect. That's great, but like if I could just have access to shows, like to the stuff that I loved as a kid, are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
Sorry, I just overtalked a lot. Yeah.
No, but I asked. So I know I opened that door. And I'm sure everybody like in the Midwest, are they in awe of you now? Like, because the Midwest, they get excited.
I mean, scared of, awe of, like, no, I mean, it's such a weird, specific dream because I don't think, I was talking about this with somebody this morning, was when you're a kid, if your parents are like, I want to be an actor. No, you're going to go to school. Now that thing is like influencer or podcaster. Like if you go to, you're like, I want to be an influencer. No, you're not going to be an influencer. You're going to go to school. Everybody can have a podcast. In fact, anybody watching or listening right now, you will have a podcast within the next 3 years. I mean, because
you too. Yeah. No, it's true.
We can all do it. I did it with just a laptop and like a $20 subscription to places that would load it on like Apple Music and Spotify,
Yeah. And if anyone thinks, oh, it's oversaturated, but you know what's oversaturated? YouTube and TikTok. You know what's not? Podcasts, because there's like over 2 million podcasts. Guess what? There's only 385,000 that are actually actively releasing new episodes.
Or they'll release 3 episodes. And then, that's the thing, is that sticking to something, whether it be relationships or dating, whether it be, is that commitment. And also what I see all the time, and I think we've talked about this before, is that people want to see immediate results. And
bingo.
Podcasting or any industry, you're never gonna like.
It's a relationship.
Right? You got
to date, and then you got to put in the work.
Yes,
and you got to be consistent.
Exactly, and that's really hard. Consistency is really hard.
It is,
because it is already you're climbing this uphill battle to even put something out. That's like, I can't, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I have anything to say. And then they do that. And it's such a like, wow, I did it. And they're like, oh, I have to do it again. I have to do it the same thing again. Like, and knowing the hell that they went through in their head.
Yeah.
But you could transfer that to relationship. You can transfer that. Like, I'm trying to like be on a health journey right now. I'm trying to drop weight. I'm trying to exercise.
Oh.
And the fact that I have to do it every day kills me.
You're like, I just did that
I'm
yesterday.
like, I just did an hour.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
And when you're away from it, it's hard to get back in it.
Oh, it's so, and then,
right? And until you get consistent with it and practice. Well, and it's funny because we talk about this, and my whole thing is dating is a skill. And if you haven't
I
done
thought you were
it,
about to say a scam. And I was like, well,
no,
yeah.
it's not a scam. It's so
Dating
much
is a
fun.
scam.
Well,
It depends how much podcast you listen to.
the pop culture part maybe. But no, and dating is a skill. And if you've never done it before and you've been maybe only in relationships for a long time, then it has to do with confidence. Like, and it's everything that we're talking about, and which, in fact, the show to me has been about the Golden Bachelor, which we'll get into in a second. But yeah, no, it's.
Well, that's why I was blown away when you said confidence, because that is something I've struggled with my entire life. You know, it's like these moments right here. What I love about a microphone is that I don't have to pretend to be somebody, but the parts of myself that I love are able to come out more. When a mic goes down, like that's why the best conversations I can have sometimes in life are through a mic. Like I had my mom and dad on for years, and we had some of the best conversations that I had never asked them about their lives growing up. And it was like this weird permission of a microphone that gives you some sort of confidence that I always struggled with my entire life. So when it even came to dating, I was a mess. I mean, like I didn't know. And I can get back to that place. Like we'll turn off the mics right now, and I'll be like bumbling around. I'll trip into something. But with
You
the mic,
stop talking. You're just like staring.
I'll be the awkward guy. It's like, who's that weird guy staring?
Right.
But that's why it blows me away, like what you do, because it is something. It's a very real thing that I've struggled with my entire life, and I know so many people are the same way.
Well, and I'm sure there are people listening that are shocked to hear this right now, because like people who know you and like you and trust you, like him, he's not confident. Like
People think sometimes it's a bit,
Right?
and I'm like,
Yeah.
what a weird bit to like, what a weird bit to really commit to for like 4
do a bit about
decades. You know,
confidence.
like,
No, I like how you're super honest about it, because when you listen to a show and you really get to know, like, and trust that person, usually it's because of their humility and the fact that they share things about their life. And when I can't relate to someone, it's because they do act like they're holier than thou, whether it's an influencer or a podcaster. So that's one thing I really appreciate your show. He's talking about pop culture, but he's also sharing insights from his life and how he feels about things. And that is like next level. As a listener, I'm like, oh, I want to hear more of this. It's relatable.
relatability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or finding those things in these shows that, you know, that little window that you can go like, oh, I understand that.
Yeah.
You know, those are the beautiful moments of reality TV, because a lot of it's silly, you know, a lot of it's really produced, but there are these little pockets where you're like, oh, I know exactly what
I've
that
been
person's
there.
going through,
Yeah.
or that's really like I feel that. And I think there's something really beautiful, and I do consider reality TV an art form in
It's-
some ways,
yes.
you know?
Yeah. You know, I just want to touch on what you said, because it's so important. And I hear this a lot because I work with a lot of like successful people or people in the world. You would be like, there's no way they struggle with dating, you know, or confidence
Yeah.
for that matter. But when they're in a role, even like people who go on stage, you would never think, like the most powerful people too. And what I talk about a lot is it makes sense because you are in a role and you have a script. And even
Yeah.
having the microphone gives you that purpose and
Yeah.
role. But when we turn off the mics and the lights go down, like, who are you? And sometimes that's where it gets hard. That's where it's
Yeah.
raw. And that's where people struggle. And they come to me. They're like, why can I walk in a room at work and be totally confident? But then, I walk in a bar and I'm like, you know, so it's true.
Yeah, the microphone will give you permission, and life, you have to consistently ask for permission sometimes, or you know, if you look at certain things in a certain way, and
Yeah.
life every day presents you with 1,000 different circumstances that you don't know what is going to come at you at any given moment, on top of just like dealing with your family, with your friends. And as you get older, keeping up with all of that stuff on top of your hopes and dreams can be really overwhelming. And then doing what we do, you know, what you don't count on as you start getting bigger is it's not just your voice. You then have invited thousands of voices to give their opinions about what you've said. And so you have to be really solid and resolute in how you feel about something, because I'll still like every day I'll sometimes dread waking up to like look at a DM. Because it's like going to be mainly positive, and there's going to be one person be like, "That recommendation was horrific. How dare you suggest that? It really offended me. It was gross." Like I recommended a horror film this week.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you're a feeling person, you're like,
Yes.
"Oh God, oh, what did I do?" And then I'm like, "I liked it, but I'm a weirdo. What do I?"
What business do I have talking about this?
And isn't that so true? Like there'll be one negative comment, and then there'll be like 1,000 positive, but
But it's
you'll
that
focus
one.
on the one.
You're like, that one
Yeah.
person gets it. You get me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
But I will say, back in the day when Susie and I were doing our show and we got our first bad review, we were like, pass the champagne.
Yeah.
We're celebrating, because the truth is, if you're not making anyone upset, what are you really doing in this world?
That's so true, but that's a hard pill to swallow. Is that like you have to upset people to sometimes grow,
Yeah.
or that's a sign of success. I had an acting teacher. Her big philosophy was like, dare to suck. Like
I love that.
suck. Like be bad, and she, especially in class, be bad here. Be bad
Oh my
here,
God,
so you don't have to
yes.
be bad there. And giving yourself permission to make as many mistakes as possible, because I think in life, or at least my own story, it's like that fear held me back from so much.
Mm.
And when you can try to find a way to get past that and go, well, I'm going to screw up like every day.
Yes.
Every day. And then that's where true growth I found has happened.
Well, and this relates so much to dating because, I always say there's no real rejection. It's actually just experience, and if you get, but
you don't know
you
that.
don't know
Like,
that when it happens to you, especially like initially when you're like new at something, anything. It's funny because I had an improv teacher that did a game that was similar. And it was that we had to take something that we were really bad at and we had to amplify it 10x on stage. And what's funny is that I thought I was a bad storyteller.
You thought you were.
I thought I was. And so I went up there and I pretended to be
A bad
really
storyteller.
bad. And it was so bad that it was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
And everyone was laughing. It was like the best scene ever. And that was a big lesson. Like, I remember that clicking for me. And so, like, anytime I see somebody struggling, like, let's say with flirting, I'd be like, great, let's like go be bad at flirting. Awesome.
Well, sometimes those turn out to be your strengths.
Correct.
I mean, that's a really exciting thing. And I think there was a time where I would have loved to have been perceived as cool, I'd be like, I'm the cool guy that, and it's like, no, I am who I am. And then you find that there is an audience for that. You find that you're like, oh, people get that. And so I think a lot of people spend a lot of their lives going, oh, I wish I could be something else, or I'm a little bit ashamed that this is my taste or this is that, and once you lean into that, it's a really amazing thing to see what happens. Once you have to also put the work in and all that stuff.
Absolutely. Well, and this is a good lead in into the Golden Bachelor.
Oh,
so
gosh.
let's get into it.
I like your reaction.
No.
See, to me, this show and what I love about it is all about sexy confidence. Like, this is about like later daters and how people lose their sense of, confidence. And you heard, especially last night, there were so many comments of the women saying, I'm glad I put myself out there.
Yeah.
Did you hear that like
Of course,
multiple times? And they love the friendships that formed.
That's what I love the most is that the
Right?
women forming friendships with each other. So even
Yes.
if they're not with Mel, the Golden Bachelor, they did get something big out of the experience.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you know this, but I talk about this a lot. I do dating retreats and I've been doing them for years. And this year I'm doing it in a mansion to kind of like a Golden Bachelor experience.
Whoa. How many people have signed? How many people do you lead through this?
Yeah, well, now I have like the perfect, like 13, so it's almost even amount of men and women.
And they're supposed to date each other.
No, and that's the thing. It's not about
There's no rose ceremony.
No,
It's
it's
like-
not.
it's like
Everyone
this-
gets a rose.
like the Hunger
just so
Games,
You know,
yeah,
Actually, that would be
Yeah.
interesting.
No, we're good. Yeah.
So bad it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so everybody gets a rose, and it's not about elimination, it's about transformation. And it is about the sexy confidence and teaching people from the outside in how to find love. And so it gets really deep, and we have a lot of fun. And Ellie comes. She's my film extraordinary.
And what's the age range on this?
Everybody's over 40. And I have somebody going up all the way into the mid-70s. And it's,
Wow.
it's beautiful. And the friendships that bond, like to your point,
Yeah.
that's really what everyone leaves with. And they always say
Yeah.
at the end, Kimmy, this really wasn't a dating retreat, was it? I said, oh, you got that finally. What is this?
Sexy confidence.
Yeah, they're like, it's me. It's
Yeah.
me.
It's my mom passed away a couple years ago, and my dad, they were together for 53 years. And so watching the Golden Bachelor for me, it's I get weirdly emotional about everything, but watching this, because you're thinking about my dad, a 76-year-old man, he's talking like, "Hey, do I date? What do I do?" And you're just like, oh my God, it's like dealing with the teenager that's all. There's so much into it.
Yes.
So when you're watching these people, what I love about the conceit of the show is I think there's something fascinating to watch about people who have loved and lost and still want to love again.
Yeah.
Is
Yes,
that
yes.
that story is not over, and that so about the Golden Bachelor this season, it really Mel
Yeah,
kind of
what's your
screwed.
take?
Well,
Yes,
Mel
I'm
kind of
sure, yeah.
screwed it up because, well, in a sense, because he went on a podcast.
I
All bad things happen in
know.
podcasts, and he said, he doesn't want to date a woman over a certain age. Well, dude, you just agreed to do a show where all the women are over that age. So what are you saying about the whole process, and what are you telling those women who are taking a risk? Right.
Yeah.
And so already you're having to then convince the audience that, oh, what I said, I'm so sorry for, and I didn't mean. And you can only imagine, because when you watch these things, you want to be swept away, and you don't want to be thinking about like, man, the ABC executive's got to be pissed at Mel.
Right.
Like he's had to really kiss some butt now. But then I like it, but it's already an uphill battle. Last season with Gary. I really got into that one. Like I was
Yeah.
hook, line, and sinker. And Gary, I think it was because my mom had died, his wife had died, and this beautiful story. Mel went through a divorce, and we didn't get to find out all the full details of that.
That's what's interesting.
I got the details.
Too. Yeah.
You know the details? Was
You
it
know
you?
the dirt?
Yeah.
She left him for a woman.
For what?
What? How, what?
Okay, maybe I watched some TikTok late night drunk. I don't know.
Wait.
Yeah.
This changes everything.
Yeah, wow. That's the show I want to
Just
see.
spill the tea.
What is it?
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Yeah, well, that'll be the next season, maybe.
That's
I don't know.
amazing.
That is.
Wow. No, I mean, wow. That really took me. Anyways, no,
Yeah, dramatic pause. Like
it's great.
I gotta Google this.
I mean, the thing with any of these kind of dating competition series, I think the hardest thing for an audience is I'm begging for digital name tags. Just put a digital because that's when I take notes on these things, I forget half the women's names, and I hate that because they have
Yeah.
these beautiful stories.
right.
You know,
I'm
you're
the
like,
same way. No, we admit it because I'm always with my notes. I'm like, what was that woman's name again? When the white dress, like I know what she
yeah,
looks
I'm
like.
like the puppet lady,
The
and then
puppet-
the
oh,
lady
yeah.
driving the dirt bikes.
She
and
was there last night. The puppet
yes,
lady.
yeah, the
I still don't remember her name.
Yeah,
See,
exactly.
that's exactly what we're doing.
But she's memorable.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
the puppet, right?
Well, they all have these little things, and I think this season I'm more entertained by the relationships between the ladies, but I do find it fascinating the one lady that was not there for the right reasons and wanted to be more of an influencer. And
Okay,
I do know her
have
name.
to talk, Nicole. So we have to talk about
Yeah.
Nicole because she really is like the black widow of the group. I don't know. Well, first of all, I have so much to say about her, but I want to hear from you.
well, I mean, there's like a lot of different ways, from a humor aspect, it's
Yes.
hysterical,
Yeah.
like
Yes,
you're like,
yes.
oh, you want to be an influencer? Great. Perfect.
Yeah.
We need another one of those. But then
There's not enough in the world.
obviously, it harkens back to the Bachelor thing. You're not here for the right reasons. We've seen that again and again.
Right.
So it's a little different with this set of just the age range. So that's interesting. Then it's really unfair to the other ladies. I guess it's unfair to Mel. And the fact that she was like doubling down last night and just saying like, hey, I was there for the right reasons, but if I happen to get a following, it's not gonna, or maybe I could be the Golden Bachelorette. Who knows? And I think that's the thing is in 2025, we're looking for something. We're looking for sometimes brutal honesty.
Yeah.
We don't want to be lied to because we are inundated every day with influencers and influencer culture. Is that I would rather 2 minutes of real than 2 hours of BS. And so I think we're also lied to a lot. So I don't want to waste my time watching shows that promote people just lying to us because they want a higher follower count.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm a stickler about that, as I get older.
Okay, so I want to bring it to the real world for a second. Like, let's
This is
just
the real world,
say, let's just say she's a real person in real life, and she is who she is, Nicole. Like as a man, because we kind of talked about this last week. Is that like her vibrato, the way she was, how she led with sex? Is that attractive to a man? Like,
we're idiots. Of course it is. I mean, what do you, wait, I mean, no, unfortunately.
No, but it's
like, if you were Mel.
Right.
And you're already like, I don't know what I'm doing here. And somebody makes that decision easy for you. They just come up to you and put a kiss on you and stuff. You're like, well, that felt pretty good. Like that wow. Maybe
it's like a spell.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I felt like Mel was in a spell.
Yes.
Mel was in a spell.
Because there are other women trying to play it like the right way of like, want to be respectful. I don't want to monopolize time. And unfortunately in this world, it's like those people that do bust in there, those people that do make themselves known, even if they're annoying to the most of the women there, she still got really far.
Yeah, she stood out. And a lot of the women said it last night. They were like, I wish that I had been more forward. So there's almost something to admire about
Cheryl said that.
Yeah. I personally didn't like her behavior, but understand why she did it from the perspective of, hey, I'm in a competition, I'm in a show. She said it. She said, I'm not dating Mel, I'm dating America. And so she told us who she was, whether we wanted to believe her or not. But the women saw who she was. But the only good thing that you could take from there is like, okay, maybe I could be a little bit more forward so that I could get to know this guy, because obviously sex sells, sex works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and this is what we see.
Well, what did you think? Because she led with confidence.
Yeah. Well, and I want to talk about the difference between confidence and arrogance too, and also insecurity, right? Like sometimes they all look the same and they're not. But what it speaks to, and I'm glad you just were honest about like sex sells, because this is what we were talking about. There's different phases in dating, right? Like we're talking about that first hit. And I was in Denver actually yesterday, and I was talking about Love is Blind, and we were talking about
that's where they shot it, right?
Exactly, it was the Denver cast, and they wanted my take on why didn't anybody get engaged? Sorry, spoiler alert in case, because we haven't really talked about that.
I think even if you watch a couple episodes, you'd realize they're not getting engaged.
Exactly. You'd have to be a therapist to figure that out. But the thing that I talked about is that in the beginning, I talked about my 4 C's. And in the beginning, there has to be something compelling. This is where the spark, the flirtation, the just fun, and this is where everyone should be. I mean, Nicole did well in the beginning because she led with that. And that's where some of the girls who didn't should have. Like, we all have pitfalls in different stages, right? So Nicole shined there, but I could see it slowly unraveling when it started getting more serious. And then we started seeing the other C's, which is chemistry and then compatibility and then finally compromise. So for me, I think each of those women, if we were to dissect them, I think they could have used some coaching in those different areas, right? But then also looking at Mel and the other women, they weren't all necessarily compatible, even though that they got kind of caught up in the show,
Well, that's why the element of, I always say if I was single, I would never, if somebody said, well, it was on a reality show, that would be a no-go for me. Just because as much as I love it, I do not want to date somebody ever because I feel like that's a really specific decision you're making for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
That really says, who really truly at the end of the day is there for the right reasons? I see what the camera does to people. There is something because of just that same magic as a kid like me growing up in Kansas, thought it was magic. People still do find those things magic. They're attracted to something. I don't know. It still has so much power. And so I don't know what kind of honesty you're starting off a relationship with when you've invited America or the world to be a part of it. And even you saying coaching, I think sometimes, and maybe this is way too mature, is that sometimes I feel like that's the thing we're missing is these people visiting a coach throughout the process.
Thank you.
Or Love is Blind when they're moving in with each. Well, no, it would be interesting because you need to remind people about what a relationship is and what they're going through, but they want the craziness on TV.
I actually had an interview with one of the Golden Bachelor contestants on the first season, and she said that. She's like, we all came here and none of us knew how to date. We did not know what we were doing at all. She wished that there was some sort of coaching. Yeah, and that would be interesting, I think, to see, right?
Well, they did have the 2 women come back on the Golden Bachelor from the last one, and they said, "Oh, just go
Yeah.
make out with him." So
Yeah.
then every girl did the same thing. It was one, "I'm just going to kiss you. I just
Oh,
need to kiss you," and it was
Susan.
so ridiculous. And then so I was watching this other show because Kimmy made me watch it, called Married at First Sight, which I've never seen
it's on
before.
Peacock now.
talked
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
And I was, first of all, now I'm addicted. So thank you so much for giving me another
Yeah.
reality TV addiction. But I was watching them on the date, and it was two of the contestants, and they were so serious, and they couldn't even like flirt or be happy because they're just talking about their past and they're just unhappy. And I was like, they need Kimmy. All these people need is Kimmy. All of these relationships that are meeting online for the, I mean, in this show, they don't even get the Bachelor experience. They get married and then they date. It is so absurd.
I know.
Yeah.
They need Kimmy's
Well,
advice.
Here's the thing, like to your point too, I don't think everybody goes on there for fame. I think there are people who go in with the intention that this is going to help them in some way, shape, or form because they haven't found it in the real world, like, and I think they do go in with a sense of hope. Like I could read some of the people, like I felt like it was genuine, especially in the first season of the Golden Bachelor.
The Golden
too.
Bachelor, I mean, that's a
Right?
little
Like,
different than Love is Blind.
I
You
agree,
know,
I
like
agree,
Love is
yes,
Blind, you're 9
yes,
seasons in, it's a
yeah.
hot Netflix show. And these like are,
Totally.
it's not,
Love Island.
Well, I would love to see a season of Love is Blind 40 plus.
Me too.
Because
oh my God,
then
I said that too.
the stakes are way different.
Yes.
If you're young, you're not even thinking fully. Like half of these dudes, their frontal lobes aren't even developed, it seems
I
like.
know.
And so I'm supposed to trust that they're going to get out of those pods and then, they're going to really commit. I mean, and that is fascinating to watch once they do that because real life things do happen or just stupid arguments of, did you drink all the beer? Like, did you drink those things are fascinating to watch. But at the same time, the audience is reminded really quick that, yeah, man, love isn't blind. Like this experiment
Completely.
is not really that much of an experiment. I think there's
No.
one couple from the first season. They just had their first child a couple weeks ago. They are going, what's her name? Lauren Speed something, but they're a beautiful couple, but they're the exception, not the rule, or Love Island, to your point. Like, do I watch Love Island thinking or even wanting any of these people to be together long term? No.
It's entertainment.
Are you kidding me? Like,
And they don't either. They just want an Instagram following.
no, exactly.
It's the younger crowd. I think.
They
Yeah.
just want some MeUndies sponsors.
But I think what's interesting, the audience then therefore has to have some tough conversations with themselves where, Love Island was like it's a commitment like a relationship. You're having to watch this thing 7 days a week sometimes. And you're like, why am I doing this? Like, what am I doing?
When
Like,
you're catching yourself.
yeah, like I've lost touch with most of my family and friends because I've committed so hard to this show. And then at the end of the day, this isn't
You're not
love.
living real life.
Yeah, I'm watching this guy lose his abs over the course of 2 months,
Yeah, well, it reminds me. So all of the shows, they're in some way, shape, or form have the sense of this time bomb. Like they have to.
Oh, by this date.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's not real. Like,
What do you
and to
mean?
have
That's not
that
how relationships work? Is
Well, I
that-
want to
yeah.
hear about yours, so we'll get to that in
Yeah.
a second. But but it reminded me. So I used to do matchmaking. Some people don't realize that. And
Have you done a reality show in terms of have your matchmaking skills ever been on a reality show?
That's what we're working on.
Too. So
Oh, yeah,
go
wait,
to,
is this-
go
are
to
we doing a commercial right now? Is that what this is?
kimmyseltzer.com
Yeah.
And I can be the. Thank you for that,
Yeah.
Ryan. No, but the thing that was interesting as a matchmaker is that people, I mean, my background's a therapist. So I've always just more or less believed that to empower people and break patterns and habits. That's all it really is. But as a matchmaker, people would come to the service thinking that it was like Disneyland, that somehow I had these magical people that they couldn't find in their real life, and it's like, find me a match, that you have the power. And I almost feel like the reality shows kind of have that, like you have the power, and what's so funny is that then I started coaching people on the side. The only people who were successful were the ones that I coached. And by the way, they ended up finding people on their own.
Yeah.
So what did that say?
Because you gave them
Right?
the tools.
Yes.
Exactly.
know.
The same patterns exist. I don't care. I can put you on an island full of like beautiful people and awesome people that you're looking for, but the same patterns are going to exist.
Right.
Well, that's what I mean. I think coaching with anything is so important. Just like I worked at an acting studio for so long. And I think when I was a kid, I always thought like actors just magically have this ability. They have this and they practice by themselves and all this stuff. And then you realize No, man, they work. They're in classes. Their work, art is sometimes done by committee, and then they filter all of this stuff. But some of the best actors, they work their butts off. And I think with anything in life, but sometimes like I know for a fact, I know I can podcast. I'm like a caveman. Podcast, me podcast. Anything else, I'm confused. I'm like, how do shower work? Like, but podcast, I know.
Right.
But everything else, I always just tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do. Tell me what I need to, and I'll do it. But the only thing that I usually am pretty confident in is I know I can do the mic and I know I can edit it and put it out.
Yeah. But why? Because you've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, repetition.
It goes back to what we were saying before. And if there's something that you just do it, either we've had negative exposure to it or we just don't like it. And that's fine. Like I always say, like farm out the things you don't like. Like we always talk about that in business. Yeah. Or maybe it's something that makes you uncomfortable. And here's what I say in dating. Like if there are things that are making you uncomfortable, like being vulnerable or flirting or having a conversation with the opposite sex or making eye contact, then I say if it makes you uncomfortable, actually do it because no one changes in a state of discomfort. We only change, in a state of comfort. We only change in discomfort. So it depends on the comfort, I guess, and the confidence. So, okay, so going back to the show. So what did you think of Debbie?
Which one is Debbie?
Debbie was the one that got eliminated, and she got put on the couch. She has the brown hair from Denver.
That's the one with the yoga studio.
Yes.
And she had never been married before.
Never been married, no kids.
She was the one that really had a problem with Nicole, the influencer.
Yes.
She was
the first dig. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel for all of their journeys. I felt for hers though, because I think she's like 62 or 64, and never been married. Which is all great. But it's one of those things that when you open up your heart like that and you're like, well, this kind of feels good. And you get yourself in that position of, oh, maybe this could happen.
Yeah.
That's really hard for once that gets taken away. So I really felt for her, especially because you hope it encourages her to keep opening up. But a lot of people that will happen and then they'll close up even tighter.
Yes.
And so I always wish with these shows we get like a doctor's appointment, like a 3-month follow-up, a 6-month follow-up. It doesn't have to be long. Just tack it on to the end of a Bachelor episode.
I agree.
And, I want to see their progress in a sense, because at this point, I'm not so concerned about Mel's journey. I'm more concerned about the women's.
I so agree. What's your take on Debbie, especially last night?
Well, yeah. I mean, you remember we talked about Debbie before, and I really adore Debbie. And I think it was Mark last time who said, Debbie gives us all of her, but there's a sense of sadness about her, and I felt that too. And I just want to, first of all, Debbie, I love you. I think you are going to find true love.
Is Debbie watching?
But just in case, if I ever talk, about someone, I want them to know that I still accept Nicole. You can. Anyways, Nicole, you know what you are.
Yeah.
Good job, honey. Okay. So Debbie, I really feel for Debbie. And I think Debbie has a heart of gold. And I think Debbie is going to find love. I think perhaps if she worked, and I say this from a person who also works on their own trauma, works on that. So then the leading with sadness doesn't come up so much. So she can lead with all of her fun, fantastic, beautiful qualities.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad she got her chance to ask Mel her question last night. And I was actually wondering, Kimmy, if you thought that Mel was truthful in his answer, because the question she asked had been something that Kimmy has mentioned multiple times. He didn't pick her, and this is why I think he didn't pick her. And then she asked the question. So what was your take on that?
Right, and it has to do with because she doesn't have kids. And I see, and again, I don't think it's for that reason, just to be clear. I don't think Mel is even in tune with it. But, Mel is a family man, and, he has kids. And I think he just was kind of drawn to the women who were mothers, and had that kind of family.
Well, because there's a
unit.
language there that they understand. Yeah.
So it wasn't that I think he was intentionally like that. And I don't think he was lying when he said, no, that wasn't a factor. I just think there was a comfort level with the family, kind of thing.
I have Gary Turner, the Golden Bachelor from last season. He's on So Bad It's Good next week. And we did that interview last week. His book comes out. And I got to tell you, it's only 200 pages. But I found it a really fascinating read because he's very earnest and he really takes you through, like, especially after they got married on national television.
Uh-huh.
And then what that relationship was like from then on. You know, it's like you deal with the realities that is not glitz and glamour. Like she has a small place in
Yes.
Jersey, like her makeup was like over the sink. He didn't have a place. He couldn't like he wasn't even able to sleep in her bed. She had work, so he had to sleep on the couch. And like it was very interesting. But then he's added the pressure of, well, the nation thinks that, like this is like we got married and all this stuff. I have to like think about the pressure that normal people go through in dating and then going like, what did we do? Like, what did we do?
Exactly.
Everybody's like, we go out, everybody cheers us on. And if you are an older person not used to dating, like you can really make a mess of things, we can all make a
Absolutely.
mess of things. But I thought, what an interesting thing to be kind of celebrated on television for being the first Golden Bachelor and for finding love. And then the reality sets in of, well, we have two separate families. We both have kids and it's not as compatible. And also when you're not getting these magical dates where you're skydiving out of planes and like secret bands are appearing in the
Exactly.
woods.
That's what we were talking about too. I mean, everybody can fall in love in those conditions. Let's be real. Like, I
Yes.
mean, if you're taken to all these places, you look gorgeous in your gowns, you're always having hair and makeup look amazing and all these adventures. And not to mention the endorphins and the adrenaline rush that you get when you're on these adventures. It's a love potion.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
everybody.
If you can't find love on one of these shows, then that's a
Then
problem
that's a
because
problem.
they're giving you. I mean, I want to see a show where they make the contestants plan the date, like for real. Like I want to,
Yes.
Gary, you got to plan the date because these producers are planning all the dates. And like, how many dates have you been on where you're in like the beautiful wooded picnic, and then all of a sudden it's like, ladies and gentlemen, train, and the band plays. Like that doesn't happen.
Exactly. Well, to your point, so this is my show, right? Like I want to do where I am coaching people to go on dates and then helping them along the way and to see if they can get better at dating and also being a better picker and vetter. Like
Yeah.
that would be interesting to take people through a journey, and it's funny that you mentioned that because see, Love is Blind has the same thing where people like Gary and Teresa, they were just relating to each other on the chemistry wheel, like physical chemistry, the emotional chemistry, and all the stuff that the set created and the experience. But compatibility is the next phase. And that's where like the Love is Blind people also failed. Like when you saw how people lived, their values,
Yeah.
the family, the religion, the communication styles, how people cleaned and didn't clean. Like we saw everything, but those are real. Like what Gary said about, the makeup being all over. Like, and then if you get past that, then comes, well, okay, are you able to compromise? Because you're going to have to give up something to get something.
And think about it, once you're a certain age, you don't want to compromise anymore.
That's
Like
it.
you've built a life for
Yes.
yourself. You know that you've built like, wait, why am I having to change everything or have to give up anything? And I thought that was like the fascinating part of his book, but it just gave you something to think about as well. So people that are getting older that like know themselves better, that's really, really hard to be like, well, I have friends, I have all of this stuff. Do I really want to give up? And that's, I mean, the antithesis of love, because love is a feeling and obviously then it's actions and building up trust and commitment over time. But that doesn't happen in a 2-month controlled environment.
No, not at all. And to your point, later in life has happened, right? Like people have to negotiate trauma and failed relationships. And so there's another layer to that.
And also that
too.
conversation of, we'll be together for the end of life,
Till
potentially,
death do we part.
unless
Yeah.
there's some weird medicine that gets invented in the next couple of years. And that's something to
Right.
negotiate as well. Do I trust this person to take care of me, or would I take care of this person? Like I was
Yeah.
watching my dad be a caregiver to my mom in those last couple of years, and he was really good at it. But just
Aw.
imagine all those people that don't have that or something,
Yeah.
Okay, that was a bummer. Let's move on to the.
No, but it's right.
Imagine all the people that just don't, you guys. Anyways, great show today. All right.
And scene. We got there last week too, don't
We're
worry.
all
we
going to die.
we-
Yeah.
We can get deep here.
We
It's
get
all good.
deep, but we get silly and deep, but that's what life is all about, right? Maybe like because I know. Well, oh my gosh, we have like 10 minutes left, and I want to get to.
Oh my God, how did that go so?
Are
you
a good
kidding?
date. It's a good date.
I thought we're like
Again,
20 minutes.
I know, right?
And I was like, wait, what are you talking about?
But see, this is what a good date should be. Like, there's no sense of time; it just flows. You
Yeah.
know, when there's things that feel hard and you're pulling teeth, or one person's talking too much and the other one's listening too much. This is when things go slow.
Well, that happened on Married at First Sight. You need to catch up so we can chat about
Wait,
it.
I have a question though about the dating coaching and stuff like you do.
Yeah.
So is it really for like purposely 440 and above? Because that's what I was saying. Like, how do you keep up with what the kids are doing? Like how the kids date now? Like, so you're like, no, screw the kids. It's this age and up.
Oh, it's all of it. I work with all ages.
Because I was just wondering, what
Yeah.
are the different trends that you see with the younger
It's
generation?
interesting.
You know?
Okay, well, if you want to get into that, I can quickly touch on it, and maybe on your show we can talk
Yeah, I
about
was saying,
that.
you
That'd be
should-
cool.
come
Yeah.
on, and that's because
Yeah.
I'm really curious about those different, like how different it is, and what are the similarities still.
We can talk about like the different decades in dating
Yeah.
because it is interesting. And so I have kids in their 20s, and oh my God, it's so different than like.
Do they
our
ask you
age.
for advice,
Finally, they are.
or you're like, no, I'm just giving it to them?
I
Yeah.
well, yeah, and it's funny because I teeter on just being a mom and not a coach, and it's
Yeah.
hard because I really try hard not to be their coach. But
Do they pick up the phone when people call?
What do you mean?
Remember
But-
we were talking about how this generation, including myself, does not pick up the phone.
No,
Oh.
they do not.
Oh my God,
Oh,
how
I'll
dare
do
you call
a
me?
text over a phone any
Any
day of the
day.
week. Yeah.
No, they think it's weird, and in fact, they think it's weird that they don't like that we don't see each other. Like the talking like this, the audio is weird for them. They
Yeah.
have to see.
Oh yeah, I
They're
don't.
visual.
FaceTime is like
Yeah.
all the rage. I hate it.
I hate
Yeah.
it.
I hate it.
Do
Well,
not
that's because
FaceTime me.
No,
do
especially
not
as
call
a
me and do
woman.
not FaceTime
I
me.
do not have
Send
any
me a text.
Yeah.
FaceTime. Yeah.
This is really becoming old man shakes fist at sky. Images. Yeah.
But you would talk on the phone.
I would talk on the phone.
Yeah, you're the only person that I call or answer when they call.
No, I don't do that. You have to first text me.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
Okay.
we have to make a plan
Yeah.
to talk. Anyway, we digress. So to button up the Golden Bachelor, and then I want to actually ask about your love story because you have a baby on the way. So
Yeah, no,
so I want
so
to touch on
exciting.
that. In the end, we're down to two. We're down to Peg, who's
Yeah.
the firefighter, and then we have Cindy. I was gonna say Carol, but Carol bowed out. Cindy.
And if he
Any-
chooses Cindy, he gets a free Italian vacation, right? Because isn't that the one that her daughter's getting married in Italy?
Oh, is it?
Isn't
I don't
that the
remember
one?
I
that.
don't either. That's fantastic.
Remember at
I
the
would
beginning of the
pick her.
season was like, if you choose me, you can be my date at my daughter's wedding.
Oh,
Or
that's
maybe-
a good memory.
You might be right. I don't
Okay,
remember.
I was like,
Yeah.
I thought that was yeah.
So that's your prediction.
Well, that's an Italian getaway. No, I mean,
Right.
I don't really. I'm. Who do you think?
I'm leaning towards Cindy, but I could argue both ways.
I think I could too.
Yeah.
See,
So
when
I'm,
you can argue both ways, then that's where it gets
could
like
be
imagine
nobody. It could
Mel.
be nobody.
But like imagine Mel. Like if at this
Yeah.
point, that's where the contest gets ridiculous
I know.
because you're like, wait a sec. If you think you could choose either one of these ladies, it's not like a flip of a coin. You know, like this is
No.
like actually serious things, and I think that mentally does not put any of these people in any kind of advantage. In fact, I think it's like a disadvantage because how many couples do we see last on any of these shows anymore? You know?
No, but you know what's interesting is that when the women pick the men, those are the ones that last. The bachelorettes, like there's been studies done. So what does that say about
That's really
selection?
That women are better pickers.
I'm just saying.
Well, it'll be interesting when Taylor Frankie Paul's The Bachelorette,
Oh yeah.
The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, that
Mormon
comes
Wives,
out. They're doing Sundays now for The Bachelorette in March.
Oh, well, we'll have to do that one.
Yeah.
And that's going to be interesting too, because remember, a lot of these people go on the show to build a social media following. She already has one.
Right.
Yeah.
She's got millions of followers.
So she might
I mean,
actually want love.
But that's going to be a whole nother.
But she may want
show.
multiple loves,
Well, she got 3 kids. She got,
right?
Yeah. She's old for her age.
Yeah, polygamy is being
Mormon. It's the
introduced in
Mormon.
ABC.
That was a
yeah.
joke.
No,
I don't
no,
know.
No, I'm really.
Sorry.
It's a really fascinating from a production standpoint. I'm fascinated with this because already you're like, oh, this is going to be a mess, but I'm tuning in.
Yeah.
Which is another thing of like, oh man, and who's going to apply to be these contestants? You know, they
I
know so
don't
much
know.
about her
I
going into it
know.
already.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that'll be okay. So we'll have to have you back then.
No, I'm really excited because except for the Golden Bachelor, I kind of dipped out of the Bachelor franchises, the Bachelor franchise, and the Golden Bachelor was what brought me back because I just thought it was so, I really truly thought it was so moving, and then this, I was like, yeah, I got to watch this because I watched Secret Lives of Mormon Wives because I feel like that's an actual sociological experiment.
That's interesting. I did not watch that yet. Oh, I don't know. How do you keep up on all this? I'm
I'm so tired.
Yeah.
Like I've never thought I'd be like, I gotta go home and watch 4 episodes of TV. Like I'm like, oh, so much TV. I just want to go out and walk. Yeah.
Are you sure you don't want some wine?
No. By the way, they offered me wine, and I was like, if I do that now, the rest of the night is shot to me because I'll just be like, let's keep going. Yeah.
I know. We totally.
That's usually what we do.
Yeah.
Exactly. We go across the way. Okay. So your love story. I want to hear. So how did you meet?
We met on Hinge, which that was the
Nice.
first dating app. Well, see, so I guess I was in two long-term I was in a long-term relationship from high school to college. We moved out here together. Then I was in a long-term relationship that was a marriage, actually.
Oh.
And then that broke up. So I missed all of the dating app culture and all of this stuff. And so I met her during the pandemic or like on the very tail end or right. And it was one of those, I mean, I think what was different than anybody I've been with before was that it felt, I think I come at a lot of things with fear, like, oh, does this person like me? And I felt that a little bit, of course, but it just, I laughed so much. I was like, oh, I really laugh. But at the same time, when you come out of a long marriage or something like that, or on top of a pandemic, there's a lot of, you're like, you're like, oh, people like me? Like I was like, you're like, oh, I could go here or I could go.
Right.
That's a really,
It was weird.
that's a really tough thing to wrap your head around or something.
Yeah.
And so I will say the one thing that I keep coming back to even now is just that I will genuinely laugh with her. Like she'll make me laugh. And the fact that we're now having a child together, and especially for me later in life, I never thought this would happen, and that's why you got to use condoms. So no. There's like we wanted this, but I never thought
Oh.
like at a certain point I had given up on
Yeah.
that dream.
Yeah.
So the fact that this is happening and it's going to be a little girl, and there's so much of that of like, wow, like our lives are going to be completely changed in
Yes,
so
it
many
will.
ways. But there's something really amazing about this, and we're going through this together. Like when
Yeah.
I came to here, like we had a really bad night last night. She was not feeling well, up most of the night, and just watching what she goes through and her body goes through
Yeah.
gives me a whole different appreciation. Like I don't even know how men have convinced anybody that we should be the leader of anything. Like I like what she's going. I mean, like this is insane.
It's insane.
I wouldn't last like a week in pregnancy.
Yeah. You can call me anytime. Like when it gets to that point and you have the baby, I've been through it. I know it's.
Oh
like
yeah, she's like,
nothing
hey,
else.
you're not going to sleep for the first 2 months, and I'm like, yeah, like I mean, like every day it's like, so you're not gonna. I'm like, yes, I know, it's gonna like. So it's like we're gonna have to switch off. Or she's sending me like 100 TikTok videos while I'm next to her about like we're taking our first baby class like next week where like teaching you how to swaddle and all of this stuff, and
Oh, great.
it's but the relationship itself has been once I was able to get out of my own way, I think that was something that I was like, oh yeah, yes. And so to me, I don't know, it's really amazing to truly feel like this is my best friend. And in previous relationships, there would always be a roadblock, or I'd be scared of this reaction, scared of that reaction. And I can just be who I am. And she's very accepting of that, but also encouraging me to go further or to be better about something.
I love this. Is there anything, and I know we're almost out of time, but is there anything that you can pinpoint that you did differently this time around to attract someone that was like this for you?
Well, I mean, I was like, well, on the app, I just hit the button, and then
Come on, we're getting a little deeper here than the
thing
button.
the thing that I think was different. I mean, really, I think my mom dying was. I mean, truly, I mean, that's the thing I did differently. It made me think about life differently, and it it made me realize more of what I wanted my future to be. And like all of this stuff with whatever happens in my career or something, it's amazing. And I've dreamt about having opportunities like this my whole life, or even be able to meeting you for the first time. Like these are really exciting things. It's really cool. But at the end of the day, I've got to remember like what does matter, and relationships matter, and building a life matters. And you've got to really be careful. Like I had a great TV director, Richie Keene, that I'm buddies with, always said, in acting or anything, you'll get your shot. Like, you know, if you keep working, you'll get your shot. But you're going to miss out on a lot of other things. He's like, at the time, he wasn't married, he didn't have kids, but he was a TV director, you know? He's like, but look at all these things I didn't have. And you've got to remember that. So even in the midst of like what somebody can consider a success professionally, your personal life, like my personal life was a mess for so long. And so there is that thing of trying to invest in that, and also giving yourself permission to be happy with it. Because I think none of us give ourselves permission to be like, this is kind of nice. Like, this is nice. I like this. And that's great, you know?
I love that.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. And I think, again, we are what we attract. And when your life is chaotic or doesn't feel right, we attract that, you know? And
there's comfort in the chaos.
Absolutely. And especially if that's been for a while. And so it sounds like there was this like peace and gratitude that you had within, and things started clicking and getting more real and present with your emotions and connecting. That I think that helps with, you know, connecting with a healthy relationship.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing too, or just to the Golden Bachelor point, is that like you're getting older, like you can do it on your own too. Like there's nothing really keeping you there. So you've got to really decide if you want to be there or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was going to ask for parting words of wisdom, but that was pretty wise. So thank you.
Awesome. Don't die.
Don't die and push the button on Hinge. Thank you very much.
Work those thumb muscles, you guys. No, I always feel, I wish there was a better thing than Hinge. I wish it was like I was at Trader Joe's and I took a risk and went up to, you know, like that sometimes I think apps have taken away some like romance. Those.
But I still believe in it, and I've still seen it with my clients.
And that gives us hope. So everyone listening that's like, F the apps, it's like, well, you just met your person and now they're having a baby. So that's a great romance story for everyone else.
But I remember in my 20s, in between the two longer relationships, I remember there was this girl at a restaurant. I think she was the hostess, and she was being really nice to me. She's a hostess. Like, that's her job, right? And I was like, wow, she's really like, and I was like, and my friends were like, go get her number, go get her number. And that's like, was really unheard of for me. Like I was not the guy to do that. And I finally got the courage. I was like, can I have your number? And she gave me her number. And I was like, whoa.
See that?
Never called her. Because it took that much to even just get the number.
You should have come to my retreat back then.
The number was like, that's the thing. And then I'm like, wait, I have to call her now? Like that's, you know, like the like mental hurdles that we all go through. These things are like mountains, you know?
Yeah. But here's the thing, and this is what I always say, at the end of the day, it's not what other people think. It's about how we are, you know? And I think if you're a caretaker, if you're in your head a lot, you put so much energy that it stops you from doing something. And that hesitation prevents you from opportunities. So it's like the more you get comfortable with yourself as you age and you get more comfortable just in life, I think that also helps you just have the courage.
Yeah.
To put yourself out there. And that was the theme of the Golden Bachelor.
And dare to suck, you know, like dare to suck, make all the mistakes in the world, because all it's going to do is help you get to know yourself better. And at the end of the day, it's not any sort of judgment on you. You know, like that you making mistakes is not an overall judgment on you, because the only way you know how to get it right is by making mistakes.
Ryan Bailey, you are awesome. Thank you for
Hopefully this wasn't one of the mistakes.
This was amazing.
Actually, next time it'll be a lot better.
Seriously, this was great. I'd love to have you back.
Yes, of course.
And I can't wait to be on your show.
We'll really dig into it.
Again, tell everybody where they can find your show.
It's called So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. We have so many episodes. Just go on there. Look at if you like Salt Lake City Housewives, if you like OC, if you like other reality shows or pop culture, there's something for everybody. So just check it out. We're also on YouTube. Not as fancy as this. I mean, sometimes it is, but not. This is amazing. But yeah, just check it out. If you like it, subscribe, and that's it. But I'm just here to talk to you guys. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Allie, is there anything you want to say as we part?
No, I was excited to hear Rebecca on the podcast. I was hoping
Oh
she'll
yeah,
make more appearances.
so my fiance finally, she made her first podcast appearance.
Oh, that's
And
cute. Yeah.
because I've asked her so many times, no, I don't want to be a part of it. And then Dancing with the Stars the other night, I was so exhausted. And I was like, could you just come on? Because we watch it together. I was like, come on, it would be so much fun to give you. And she finally did it. And she got such positive feedback. The audience was so great to her that she's out of control now. She's really full of herself. Yeah, she's out of control. I think she'll be back on.
She got confident.
No, she was great. But by the way, people were so nice. And I was reading her all these comments and it really made her feel good. Yeah. Yeah.
That is awesome. Oh, I can't wait to.
Yeah.
All right. And thank you for listening and chiming in. This has been Dating Real Talk. Again, I am Kimmy Seltzer. And remember, you can go to datingrealtalk.com. If you can't watch us live, just put in your questions because we will read them out loud. And your question is probably someone else's. So keep it fun, keep it flirty, and keep it real. Cheers. Cheers. Ching, 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 ching.
Oh, my.